Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're here in Baraboo at Oliver Motors, just a little ways off the highway, and we're going to talk with Dell a little bit later on in the program. There's a lot of great vehicles here, and they've got something for you. But first, I'm joined now by a new guest. This is Bobby Betcher from the Baraboo area
Yes.
Chamber of Commerce. How are you, Bobby?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about the Baraboo Area Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, golly. It is the Baraboo area. We represent municipalities of the city and the village, but one of the interesting things about us is that we are both a Chamber of Commerce and the Visitor Center or the Visitors Bureau, I should say, for the community. So I juggle a lot of balls on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm sure that keeps it interesting.
Oh my goodness.
Never a dull moment.
Well, the philosophy has been, if we have a strong tourism economy, it helps everything.
Of course.
A friend of mine says, a rising tide raises all ships. So if we have a strong visitor base that comes here, then that adds and helps out, the regular, realtors or, gas stations and grocery stores. So it's a good job.
And how did you find your way to the chamber?
Well, I've lived and kind of lurked around the Baraboo area since
lurking.
I'm lurking since the 90s, and just fell in love. I grew up in an area very comparable. Baraboo is on the very tip of the driftless region. It's a geographical phenomena, and where the glaciers ended, and where I grew up was basically 3 hours straight west of here. So I really feel akin to this community, and then I just fell in love with the people that are here. I mean, we're a really dynamic group. I'm sure I'll talk about that in a little bit too.
So, when people think about Baraboo, especially if you don't live in Baraboo or near it, people often associate certain things or memories or whatever they may have. What do you think Baraboo is really known for?
Well, it's an interesting question because it depends on who you are and what your interests are.
Right.
Very eclectic group of attractions, if you will, or things. So some people might jump to the fact that we are the home of the Ringling family, of the Ringling Brothers Circus. They grew up here, and then they came back and they had their winter headquarters here. So back in the 50s, they're actually celebrating their 60th anniversary. This year is our Circus World here.
Oh, wow.
It's the largest collection of circus wagons in the world, and they have all of them, which they gladly let us display a couple handfuls of them at our parade in July. The 21st this year will be the parade. Usually we get about 15 to 20 of the wagons that will parade downtown, and yeah, you talk about memories, it's pretty awesome. And some of them will be the band, and we'll have full bands on top of the wagons and our marching bands as well. But, we also are the home of Devil's Lake State Park, and last year they welcomed 3 million visitors there. It is the most, for a community. Baraboo in and of itself is about 15,000 people. So it's a nice small town, but when you factor in the visitors that come in, whether or not they've been in with our neighbors in the Dells, which is only at 10 miles north of here.
Right.
But yeah, it's those 3 million visitors that come in and are hiking and are camping. They're going into the lake, and they've really. You could have a completely natural resources theme here. You can have a circus theme here. And we have all of our Ringling entities, kind of jumping back to the circus. We have the Al Ringling Theater, the Mansion, the Bed and Breakfast. I mean, there's this cohort of people that have had that circus background that come together and make it truly, truly great. And I'm not even talking about the Aldo Leopold Foundation and the International Crane Foundation. It's eclectic,
you
I
got
guess.
a lot going on
It
there.
is.
We need about 30 more minutes.
Absolutely.
The circus part is a very unique thing. Do you think that's the most unique thing to Baraboo?
Well, I would say between the two that jump out, like I said, are the lake and the circus. I mean, definitely the circus is, and it has a little bit of offshoots with it. We also have the International Clown Hall of Fame. I say I can talk about clowns on a daily basis, and I'm not insulting anybody, you know?
Right.
Because, last year, you probably remember the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey traveling circus closed down after a long time. It has nothing to do with Circus World here in Baraboo. So a lot of our message was, no, we're still open. And in fact, we invited all of the former employees of the circus, the traveling, to come and be our grand marshals. We had 500 people, 250 of the employees along with their families come. And I tell you, seeing the parade with 250 grand marshals, and a lot of them were clowns, and they were all dressed up. It was hilarious. I just heard a story yesterday about this 5-year-old daughter of one of the performers. She's like, I'm a contortionist, and she was doing flips down the parade route. It's pretty unique here, and I would say, as far as unique goes, yes, the circus would be probably what I would call that, but the lake, our downtown, it's just a lot going on here, like you said.
In 15 seconds or less, give somebody, what's one good reason for somebody to come to Baraboo?
It is an easy place to get to. We are only about 40 minutes, 45, an hour at most from Madison. We are located just 7 miles off of the Interstate I-90, 94, and about 15 miles from I-39. This is an easy place to get here, where you are going to be able to have the opportunity for a different experience each day you're here. You could shop one day, you can do the wineries one day, you could do Circus World, you could do the lake.
All right, Bobby Betcher from Baraboo Area Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Don't go away, we'll be right back here with Wisconsin Family.